Welcome to Impact Makers Radio, featuring industry thought leaders sharing problem-solving insights to help grow your business and live the life you love. And here's your host, Stewart Andrew Alexander.
Hi, and welcome to another Let's Talk Bankruptcy conversation. And during this segment of the show, ladies and gentlemen, I have bankruptcy attorney Richard Fonfrias, managing founder and founding partner of Fonfrias Law Group, LLC, all the way in Chicago, Illinois. Now, Richard, who has a wealth of experience in the area of bankruptcy, will be talking to you today about knowing your options when you are having trouble with any kind of debt and understanding the truth behind common myths and bankruptcy. So, if you are one of the many consumers who are in default on debt in the Chicago, Illinois area, you might want to take a break. Log out of Facebook, give Twitter a break, log out of Instagram or anything else you might be doing which may cause a distraction. Pick up a notepad and pen, get ready to take some notes and listen in to what Richard has to share with us today. So with that said, let's not keep him waiting any longer. Welcome to the show, Rich.
Thanks for having me.
You are so welcome. I know just how busy you are over there in Chicago, Rich, so I'm just going to jump straight in with our first question. Rich, in your own words, could you just briefly describe what types of people you serve and the various types of situations they find themselves in when they come to you for your help?
I help people that are divorced, single parents, anyone struggling to survive, struggling families, drivers, doctors, accountants, postal workers, and people injured at work. Anyone that is struggling to pay their basic living expenses and feel that they have nowhere to turn. Many of my people are in foreclosure. They're being garnished. Some people don't have the resources to catch up, and they don't know what to do. So those are the kinds of people that I help. If you know anyone that's like that, they need to see me as soon as possible.
Okay, thanks for sharing that with us, Rich. And keeping in mind that anything you do share with us from this point on today is not legal advice or legal assistance. It's purely information sharing. Now, I'm sure in the time that you've been out there working in your field that you come across many misconceptions, Rich. People come to you, they have preconceived notions, they've done research online, they've found things on Google, they've heard things from friends and colleagues, and they believe them to be true. However, because this is your area, you know quite different. So what are some of what's the most common misconception that you come across while you're out there working with those consumers who are in default on debt?
I have to say, friends and colleagues are the cause of a lot of pain for a lot of my clients. They're well-intentioned but misinformed. One of the big misconceptions, and there are many, but one of the big ones is friends and colleagues tell people that you'll never be able to establish credit after a bankruptcy. And that is completely true. As a practical matter, you only file a bankruptcy when you can't pay your bills. And because of that, your credit is probably already terrible, and a bankruptcy won't make it any worse. It stays bad until you change the situation. Changing the situation with a bankruptcy erases your debt, improves your credit score, and then within a year or two after a bankruptcy, many mortgage companies and lenders will be ready to lend to the person again.
Okay, so when you think about what you just shared with us then, Rich, and obviously keeping client confidentiality in mind, could you just share with us an example of how you've helped someone or a situation where you helped someone to overcome those challenges, that misconception you just described, and what kind of transformational results you were able to gain for them?
I have a couple right now who came to see me at the last minute. they were having trouble paying their property taxes. And one of their colleagues and friends told them, if you file a bankruptcy, it's going to ruin you. You're going to lose your house. The reality is they let too much time pass to pay their property taxes, and they're literally 1 week away from losing the home to a tax buyer. So they came to see me in the nick of time, and I'm going to file a Chapter 13 bankruptcy for them, and I'm going to help them catch up on their property taxes and stop the tax buyer from taking the home away.
Okay, that's a great example. Thanks for sharing that with us, Rich. Now, just as a reminder, today's topic is knowing your options when you are having trouble with any kind of debt and understanding the truth behind common myths about bankruptcy. Now, with that in mind, Rich, and for those consumers who are out there who find themselves in default on debt and they're wanting to know more, what's the most common but unknown pitfall that they might not, but definitely, without a doubt, should be aware of, regardless of what situation they find themselves in?
If you're behind on bills and you're struggling to pay your living expenses, maybe you've been sued, maybe you've been garnished, maybe you have a foreclosure complaint, or you're having other financial difficulties, well-intentioned people will tell you, use your savings, cash out your 401k, and pay off the debt, but don't file bankruptcy. That is a huge mistake. That's the biggest mistake I see. Money in a 401k is protected up to $1 million, and many times, unfortunately, I see people that have already taken a penalty to pay off debts that they could have erased in a bankruptcy. So that's one of the big pitfalls that most people are not aware of. I hear that from financial advisors, tell people that, certified financial planners, accountants give that advice out, and it's not good because people are using up savings. And the idea behind bankruptcy is we erase debt and protect savings so you have something to start with. So that's a very big pitfall I see.
I just thought about something off the cuff, Rich. Firstly, how many years have you been a bankruptcy attorney?
In total, 18 years on my own for 8.
So would it be safe to say you've helped hundreds, if not thousands of people who find themselves in default?
I would say probably over 1,000.
Right. Okay. So think about this then, Rich. When those people come to you for help, of all the questions that they ask you, what would be the one question that you wished they would have asked you, but they didn't? What would be that one question when you think about it? They ask you so many things. What's the one question you wish they would ask you all the time?
Well, I wish they would call me and ask for the free consultation so I could listen to their situation and advise them so they don't hurt themselves more than they're already hurt.
And why is that then so important? Why do why is that your biggest wish?
Because I offer a free consultation, an hour free consultation. So the trouble or the burden of an attorney fee is erased to encourage people to trust me and let me listen to their problem, and then I come up with options for them. People wanting to hear their options, wanting to educate themselves and take themselves out of the loop of friends and family that are not really sure what to do, is a very important step to fixing the situation.
Now, I'm just thinking, in the 18 years of being a bankruptcy lawyer, that, you've dealt with so many different cases, so many different scenarios. Is this something that you still find yourself motivated to do on a day-to-day basis?
Very much so. I look at the news every day. I look at credit card hub reports. I look at economic news. And across the country, Americans are in default on a wide range of debts. Mortgages, car loans, credit cards, and most Americans have no savings. And if you did look at the internet news on the topic, credit card default, American consumer debt, we're in a crisis situation.
Right.
Americans have no savings, and the average balance on a credit card, revolving balance, is $8,000 to $10,000, and interest rates just kicked up. So it's a problem, and people need the proper advice, and that's why I'm here.
Fantastic. So in those 18 years of being a bankruptcy lawyer, I'm sure you must have some kind of formal background, some formal education and experience as it relates to the topic of bankruptcy. So could you just spend a few moments just sharing that information about your background and your formal education, please?
Sure. I've practiced law for 18 years. I have in-depth experience helping families and businesses overcome serious financial problems. I've represented people in all types of financial emergencies, being sued by creditors, being sued by the Internal Revenue Service, people that for some reason can't file bankruptcy but still want to eliminate or reduce debt. I've helped people do that. I help settle tax debt. Many times people just can't file bankruptcy or don't want to. When that happens, help them in state court defend the actual underlying lawsuits. I graduated from the State University of New York at Stony Brook with a Bachelor of Arts degree in philosophy, and then a couple of years later took a law degree from Thomas Corey Law School, passed the bar, and I've been helping people ever since. I'm a member of the Illinois State Bar Association and the National Association of Consumer Bankruptcies. I practice in 2 districts, and I've helped a lot of people, and I like to educate people as well.
Fantastic. This is just great information that you're sharing with us today, Richard. So I'd just like to thank you for that, for being so open and honest with us. Now, we're coming slowly to the end of the show, and I'd just like you to picture the kinds of consumers who are in default on debt and come to you for your help. And they're wanting to dig a little bit deeper into the topic of their options when they are having trouble with debt. And they're wanting to understand the truth behind those common myths about bankruptcy. Now, with that picture in mind, Richard, what final thoughts would you like to leave with them before we finish up with our last question for today?
If you are listening and you're in serious financial trouble and you feel like you're struggling and you feel like there's no way out, do not give up. I can help you get a fresh start. All you have to do is trust me and have a desire to educate yourself on your options.
Well, based on what you've shared with us today, and I'm sure after 18 years in the industry, we've only scratched the surface of how you could help somebody who finds himself in that unfortunate position of being in debt. So if there is somebody out there who does want to know more about you, Rich, and they're wanting to know more about dealing with their debts, what would be the best way to reach you? Where would they find you?
They would find me on the internet. Most people hear about me from others, from friends, relatives, or prior clients. I get a lot of referrals.
Right.
But a very large amount of people find me on the internet. They go into Google and they type in their legal problem, and then they find an article that I've written, and then they call me or text me or email me. I respond to phone, text, and email 24 hours, 7 days a week. The website is chicagomoneylawyer.com. And I'm reachable on phone, text, and email 24/7.
Okay, great. So I'm sure when they go to your website, they'll find those contact details there, right?
Yes.
So that's it, Rich. We have come to the end of today's show. Whether you're out there driving in your car, or maybe you're tuning in from home, or you're working out at the gym and you're listening in on your personal headset, whatever the case may be, that was consumer bankruptcy attorney Richard Fonfrias. Thank you so much for sharing so generously today with us, Rich. You have certainly demonstrated without a doubt that you're a true educator and advocate for your client's success. So thank you.
Thank you, Stewart.
You are so welcome, Richard. And even more importantly, I'd like to say a big thank you to you, the listener. Without you, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't have anybody to speak to. So thank you for joining us on what I can only describe as a very insightful and informative discussion with one of the top consumer bankruptcy attorneys in the Chicago, Illinois area today. Again, his name was Richard Fonfrias. Don't forget his name. Make sure you do check him out. Do go to his website, give him a call, drop him an email. Whatever you do, after 18 years in the business and helping hundreds of people, I'm sure you are going to be in a great place to address some of your issues. That's it. My name, again, it's Stewart Andrew Alexander. We'll be back shortly with some more leading bankruptcy professionals in this, our series of Let's Talk Bankruptcy Conversations. So, until then, take care, have a great day, and we'll talk real soon.
Thank you for tuning in to Impact Makers Radio. To listen to all past, present, and future industry thought leaders and trendsetters, visit us at impactmakersradio.com.